Last June, my 27 female sister, 28 female, filed for divorce from her husband, 28 male. She told me and our parents, 50 female, 54 male, her plan a month ahead of time on Memorial Day. At that time, she told us that her husband was cheating on her with at least one woman, plus random other ones, that he controlled all their finances. He worked full-time, and she worked part-time as a waitress until the baby was born, and then as a homemaker, and wouldn't give her any money for food and essentials for her and the baby, and a bunch of other stuff about how he was emotionally and cold. She filed for divorce on their 7th wedding anniversary and left while he was at work along with my nephew. Because we wanted her and my nephew to have a place away from him, my parents offered to take them in. I took them in instead because my parents had recently downsized from their house to a townhouse complex. I had planned to move in with my fiancé, 27 male. I had not re-signed the lease on my apartment because we were planning on me moving into his place because he had almost a year left on his lease. Instead, I signed a lease for 18 months for an apartment in the same complex that was a bit bigger, so there would be space for my sister and nephew. Since she wasn't working, I loaned her money I had been saving for a wedding. My fiancé was 1000% supportive of me moving in with my sister and loaning her the money. He offered to help in any way he could. My parents loaned her some of the money from the sale of the house to help with the lawyer and expenses, and other family chipped in to help her and give her stuff for my nephew. My sister had left with only a suitcase full of clothes for each of them because she said that was all he allowed them to have. It was our understanding from the lawyer my sister hired that she would receive alimony and child support and a larger share of their condo, if not the whole condo of her soon-to-be ex-husband's. And once all that happened, she said she would be able to pay us back because she would be on her feet and have a place and be financially supported. Guys, my sister ducking lied. After the divorce proceedings were well underway, her soon-to-be ex-husband introduced hard proof that my sister was having an affair. A DNA test showed that he was not the father of my nephew. Bank records showed my sister was spending on the other guy, and she was the one who controlled the finances. She had told us and her lawyer that her ex-husband pawned her engagement ring, but it came out my sister pawned it and used the money to buy the other guy a TV. She left 3 closets full of brand name and designer clothes behind that she had bought with a secret credit card. His phone, email, and bank records were clean. The investigator my parents hired before the divorce and the one her first lawyer hired after she filed both failed to find proof of any cheating by her husband. There were hundreds of romantic emails and receipts for flowers and other stuff showing how loving he was. Her lawyer ended up dropping her because she lied to him initially and then kept lying every time something else came out. In our state, adultery is barred to receive alimony, so my sister was not awarded any. Her ex-husband doesn't have to pay child support because my nephew is not his, and a fair guy is not the dad either. Another guy who got tested also is not. My sister is 4.5 months pregnant again, but she is not sure if a fair guy is the father. She was made responsible for paying off the secret credit card. My sister took the car when she left because she said to everyone she bought it with her own money, but it was actually her ex-husband's car, and he sold it and got all the money. The house was sold, but again, because of her adultery, my sister only got 1/3 of the equity, and all of it went to pay her first lawyer, who dropped her. She has no job, no education beyond high school, no alimony or child support. She is pregnant again, and she has $10,000 of secret credit card debt, $8,000 still owed to the second lawyer, and $12,000 owing to her ex-husband. Even if she declares bankruptcy, she still has to pay her ex-husband. The judge was not happy with her lies. I am so angry with her. I am glad she didn't get anything from her ex-husband in the divorce. She lied about everything. If I had known she was the cheater who spent all the money, who was lying to me, our parents, and whole family, her lawyer, and the court, I would not have put my plans on hold. I would have moved in with my fiancé and not given her half of the wedding savings. Her divorce was finalized 15 days ago on what would have been their 8th anniversary. The lease I signed when I took her in was supposed to be up on November 30th. I broke the lease early, and now we have to be out by July 28th. I know I should feel bad because of my nephew and soon-to-be nephew or niece, but I am so pissed at my sister, I can barely speak to her. My parents are taking her in only because of my nephew and the baby, but that is on them. My fiancé just got a raise, so he broke his lease, and we're moving into a new place together on July 29th. I don't care if this is inconvenient for my sister. I have also told her if she doesn't pay back the $5,000 I lent her, I will take her to court because she signed paperwork and I will enforce the loan. We had to push our wedding date back over 6 months because of her. It's not like we are having a huge expensive affair, but we do have certain things in mind, and my fiancé and I are paying for the entire thing, So we are doing what we want. Other people in my family are mad at her too. So are my parents, but because of the kids, they are going to take her in and support her. My sister is trying to use the kids as a shield, and while my heart breaks for them, I don't feel responsible because I'm not the parent, and I didn't lie to everyone and make the mess. My parents support my actions, but my mom has mentioned I am being too harsh on her and the kids, even though she is mad at my sister too. I've decided to go no contact with my sister too once I move, except if I see her in passing at my parents' house. I can't even with her. I feel like never speaking to her again. A few people on both my mom and dad's side have cut off contact. When I told her I was breaking the lease, she called me selfish for making an infant and a pregnant woman homeless. Am I wrong here? Is it wrong for me to be furious with her? Are my actions the bad ones here, given she is pregnant and has an infant? Is it bad that I'm pretty much cutting contact and not inviting her to the wedding? She lied to everyone and tried to make her ex-husband the bad guy. I actually feel sorry for him and not her. My sister and I always had a good relationship, but this has completely destroyed it. You didn't make a pregnant woman and an infant homeless. She did, with her reckless choices. Anyhow, she and her children aren't homeless since they're going to go live with your parents. Although, who knows how long that will last with her talent for burning bridges. There is no way you could have known how extreme her lies and manipulation was. Maintain no contact. Move on with your life. However, I would suggest letting go of the $5,000 she owes you. Don't keep torturing yourself by keeping this saga going. She is $30,000 in debt with no job and no prospects. You will be hassling her for that money for years. Don't do that to yourself. Don't maintain contact with such a poisonous person for money you'll never get back. Just let it go. Make peace with the loss. You'll make it back and move on with your life. I got married in November. We were happy as could be, but we hadn't moved in together yet. I may have dragged my feet on it a bit, for like 3 weeks, but I did it and happily took on the roles of cooking, cleaning, taking care of my husband, 36 male. When we got married, he promised me the world. Some of the things he told me have turned out to be very, very untrue, and it's changed a lot for me. He was married previously and said that they had been separated for 2 years. He was lonely because his kids were older and didn't want to hang out with dad, etc. I have no kids, no prior marriages. Fast forward to months into this marriage. We tried for a baby and got pregnant. As soon as I got pregnant, he became more absent. Suddenly, his kids needed him, and he went to them all the time. They want nothing to do with me and don't want to know me. Last week, he stayed with them for 3 nights, didn't come home once. Came home Friday morning and spent Friday after work with me and Saturday with me, and left again last night. He said he'd be home at 3 a.m. He didn't show. He's now talking about staying there all week so we can spend the weekend together. As in, he will come home from work to see me for an hour and then go there to spend the night, so I can get the weekend. How gracious. He refuses to put his foot down with them because he doesn't want to lose them forever, and because of that, they don't know I'm pregnant. If this continues at this rate, I will spend more of my pregnancy alone than with the man I married. He keeps me a secret from his kids for the most part. His family has met me and does not want me around because of my race, so we can't go to the places they go in case we run into them. My child will most likely have to live in the same secrecy. I asked him when it will end, and he said in 4 years when his youngest graduates. No. You don't get to skip out on 4 years of marriage and of our kid's life. That's beyond unfair. Last night, some issues came up where one of his buddies made a comment about how my baby isn't my husband's because I cheated with my husband's friend. I have never so much as texted another man in a flirtatious manner. My husband got self-conscious and kept asking me about it, and I'm like, you're the one who doesn't come home. You're the one who prioritizes everything before me, and you really want to ask if I've cheated on you? I'm hurting. When we got married, I thought I finally found someone that was going to be there for me, and someone I could build a life with. As I lay in bed alone for the 4th night in 7 days, I keep asking myself if I'm better off if I just leave. He says he loves me and doesn't want to lose me, but he's not willing to compromise. We talk about it, and he gets angry and pretty much just tells me that's the way it is. They're my kids. They come first. I'm hurting so much. I sit in church on Sundays and I'm angry, and I'm asking God why I can't have the happiness that other people have. I'm at a loss. I'm hurting so much, and I'm terrified that I'm going to hurt my kid if I leave, but destroy my kid if I stay. Neither myself nor our unborn child deserves to be left alone 75% of the time. And if I'm going to play the part of a single parent until he feels that it's convenient, I might as well just be a single parent. At least I won't hurt every night. I'd be able to stop the hurt and move on. What do I do? You deserve better. If he's a jerk before the kid is born, how will he treat it once it's born? The child deserves better. You deserve better. Don't stay and wait for him to make the marriage a priority. The child will be so much better not surrounded by his negativity and bad energy. It's time to move on. I've never suggested this before, but you need to get a private investigator. Something is seriously wrong here, and not just because of your husband sidelining you and treating you like crap. I'm not sure his ex is actually his ex, and I'm pretty confident this kind of stuff is only going to get worse for you. I saw that you don't believe in divorce, but divorce is a godsend in situations like these. It allows someone to exit a horrendous, dehumanizing situation with their dignity intact, which is vastly better for the children as well. I promise, your child will not be thanking you if you stay with this man. They will never see how miserable you are. And worst case, they may think this is how marriages are, and seek that out in their own relationships. Update. Nothing has gotten better. He said he'd stay with them on Saturday night. That turned into Sunday and Monday night as well. Last night, I was in a lot of pain, and I went to the ER. My baby is okay, but they found a problem with an ovary and fallopian tube, and the gestational sac is misshapen. I sat alone in the ER as they told me this, knowing that my family has a history of ovarian cancer, knowing that because of my family history, there is a 70% chance I will eventually get cancer. His response this morning was to stay home from work and to have faith that everything will be all right. Okay, buddy. I had faith when I married you, and look where we are now. I'm getting ready for work as we speak because I don't want to lay in bed alone all day thinking about everything. He's been caught in more lies. I haven't said anything to him about them because, honestly, I can't be bothered. Apparently, he's taking some job in Pennsylvania. Good for him. I am just exhausted and tired and scared. I just want to crawl into bed with someone and have them tell me I'm going to be okay. Sister-in-law, 34, is single and lives by herself. Last year, she got fired and hasn't been employed since. She's also really gone on a downward spiral since then and has pretty much given up in terms of taking care of herself. So in the year she's been unemployed, she's stopped looking for any sources of income, racked up nearly $13,000 in credit card debt, started chain smoking again, and adopted like half a dozen animals to keep her company, on top of the 2 dogs and 1 cat she already had, and adopted 3 more dogs, and we don't know how many more cats, rabbits, birds, frankly. It's been an uphill battle for my husband and his siblings. Their parents have passed, and getting their sister back on track in past months. None of his siblings are high earners, so we've been personally giving sister-in-law a monthly stipend for day-to-day expenses. They've now managed to keep her debt under control with a plan in place, and I think they're slowly convincing sister-in-law to try mental services. Last weekend, husband told me that sister-in-law is doing well lately and is receptive to the idea of seeing a mental health professional for the first time. She hated the idea before. Then, he said that she's been trying to adopt another dog after volunteering at the shelters, and that he's happy to see her excited about something again. I asked if her current 5 dogs are still there, and he says yes, but he thinks she takes good care of them, and they provide her mental relief and a sense of purpose. So maybe I was a bit blunt, but I bursted out. Wow, so we're just fully subsidizing her animal hoarding habit now. In the moment, I was honestly taken aback. We've been giving her between $500 and $1,200 a month, depending on her needs. 70% of these needs boil down to, I need medicine, food, etc. for this dog, cat, bird, rabbit. I've put up with it for so long because I know husband is a huge family guy and will always want to help siblings in need. And we weren't hurting for money. But I felt like I had to say something finally. Well, husband and I got into a huge fight over whether or not I was being petty and heartless. That if she's good at taking care of these animals and they bring her peace and a feeling of fulfillment, then what's my problem? My argument was that she should not be taking in more animals right now when she can't even feed and support herself. In my mind, pets are a luxury, not a need, and people who can't afford their own lives shouldn't be claiming others. Husband kept saying I was missing the point, that we should be doing all we can to make sure his sister is in a good place, and how much could one more animal cost? I don't know. Am I being insensitive and petty? I am okay with helping out a family member, but I feel like this is enabling her more than helping her. Husband and I fundamentally disagree about her hoarding, though, and he thinks having animals to take care of is a good thing and therapeutic for sister-in-law. Personally, I think it's irresponsible and only feeds her continued irresponsibility in her life. Ultimately, we both earn money, and so we both have to agree on where to put our money. Husband said he's willing to reassess the support we've been giving her if I'm no longer on board. No, you're not being insensitive or petty. You should research the average cost of a dog on a yearly basis and show your husband how much money his sister is costing you. A quick Google shows me $1,200 per dog per year. If she has 6 dogs, that's $7,200 per year. Another $1,000 for the cat, and that's only if they don't have any major illnesses. A dental surgery alone can cost upwards of $1,000. And yes, she is in the realm of animal hoarding. You should also research how many animals she is legally allowed to have in her home. That should shut him up.